Imagine a journey where you need to let go of the person you thought you were, a journey that allows you to discover your true self. It's like a symbolic rebirth. You have to release the idea that you have a separate life and realize that you are, at your core, life itself. This transformative process is not only profound, but also incredibly fascinating, and it's something I'm genuinely passionate about. If you're currently on a similar path of self-discovery, I'm here to provide you with clarity about the journey. I want to share insights into what you might experience as you approach this phase of rebirth. To get started, think of your life as a storybook. The moment you're born, you begin writing your own story, creating the character you'll play in the world. This journey is about revising that story and becoming your most authentic self. It's a process of trust, growth, and awakening to the person you were meant to be. As soon as you come into this world, you enter an environment where you will be influenced and shaped. You'll be taught what to think and how to think, and these influences will mold what we commonly refer to as our personality. It's how you express yourself to others. As we grow, we accumulate desires, emotions, beliefs, and various labels that we attach to ourselves, forming our identity. We become heavily attached to the narrative of who we think we are. If I were to ask you to describe yourself, it's crucial to understand that most of what you'd say is subject to change at any point in time. It's also important to realize that everything you say about yourself is essentially a part of the story associated with your character, not your true essence. The spiritual journey, in my view, is one of the most painful yet beautiful experiences anyone can undergo. It's a process where the story you've believed about yourself begins to crumble. Everything, and I mean everything, you thought you knew turns out not to be true. This journey is more about letting go and unlearning things than acquiring new knowledge. The ego is the glue holding these stories together, and when you start to release these attachments, your ego feels threatened. It believes that you'll cease to exist if you let go of certain things. This resistance is why the journey is often seen as challenging. The ego doesn't want to let go. It wants to stay firmly in control. It wants to maintain the illusion of being the real you, just like Pinocchio wanting to become a real boy. However, if you explore what the ego truly is, you'll discover that the concept of the ego isn't even real because there is no individual thinker. There's no one here who possesses thoughts. Thoughts simply arise, and our attachment to them creates the illusion that those thoughts define us and that we are the ones thinking them, thus creating the sense of I am thinking. But even the ego itself is just another story. When people talk about killing your ego, it doesn't mean making it disappear entirely. It's more about disengaging from it so that it no longer dominates your life. Eventually, the ego will settle down and realize that it's no longer in control, and you can find harmony with it. This idea of dying before you die is of great importance in this journey. Certainly. If you've endured significant suffering in life or are currently grappling with it, this process can help you gain a deeper understanding of reality. I want you to ask yourself right now, what remains when you let go of thoughts, labels, and judgments? What's left when you stop trying to impose a particular feeling or appearance on this moment? The answer is something that cannot be fully expressed in words or language. It's an experience you must feel. So take a moment to simply look around, to be fully present. What's left is what truly exists, as it is. It is what it is, just this, the present moment. Now, as you let go of things like fear, anxiety, and depression, you'll come to a crucial realization. You must understand that these emotional states are, in a sense, illusory. They are essentially stories created by the mind, and they do not represent the ultimate truth. Consider fear, which is often at the core of various emotions. When fear arises, you might feel that familiar sensation in your chest. The mind starts generating scenarios and stories, and before you know it, you're ensnared in a mental illusion because what you believe to be true doesn't necessarily align with reality. Think about how you can lovingly hold a harmless spider in your hand, yet when you encounter one unexpectedly, you react with fear, triggering a fight or flight response, sweating, and even flashbacks. It might be so intense that you can't even watch Spider-Man movies. However, the main difference between you and someone who can handle this situation calmly is what's happening inside. Your thoughts and emotions are responding differently. But if you can release your resistance to these thoughts and emotions associated with fear and step back to observe what's genuinely taking place, you will begin to see the truth. Indeed, when you start this process of self-awareness, you might notice an energy vibrating in your chest. It's not causing harm, and it's not inherently negative. It's simply energy. Thoughts are also occurring, but they're not tied to any particular individual. They just happen. There's no need to buy into these mental narratives. There's no need to categorize these uncomfortable sensations as bad, because they are, at their core, just energy. These are the stories that you must release. These are the things that need to die for you to be reborn into the truth. Everything you've defined yourself as is essentially another story. You are not anxiety, you are not fear, and you are not depression. If you remove the labels and stories, you'll see what remains. It's just events unfolding, and they're happening to no one in particular. You don't need to claim these things as part of your identity because they do not define who you are. You are the awareness of what's unfolding. You are not the body, and you are not the mind. These aspects are constructed from your awareness, but they are not your direct identity. As you go through this process, it may be painful. We can't avoid pain, but we can minimize our suffering. The death of your old self might feel as if your entire reality is crumbling. In a way, it truly is. You might even find yourself grieving for that old version of yourself, and that's perfectly okay. There may be a period of isolation as you navigate this transformation. This period of transition is the universe's way of preparing you for your rebirth. It's time to embrace the truth and live in that truth, free from the stories and limitations of the mind. What you truly are is boundless and limitless energy. You encompass everything and everyone. Together, we are all part of the one and only interconnected consciousness. There is no real separation. That's just another illusion. In reality, you are life itself. You don't possess a life. You are the essence of life. Without you, there would be no experience, no human characters, and no nature. Everything exists within us, not the other way around. You are not within this world. The world exists within you. When you experience rebirth, these truths I'm sharing will become undeniably clear. The intriguing aspect of this process is that this is who we've always been, deep down. We have never truly been what the world led us to believe. Take a moment to ask yourself, what was I before the world began telling me who I am?